So I'm here, I'm joined with Paweł Sobotkowski. Paweł, did I pronounce your name correctly there?
Paweł Sobotkowski.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to actually be here. I know you're a very busy guy, so it's been great in one of your busy weeks that we could pin you down and get you here. So we're really going to talk about blockchain because you're active in this space right now. You work with a company that's active in the space right now. And I wanted for anybody watching this to really get a feel for who it is you are and what it is you do. So maybe let's just start there. You just tell us, who are you and what are you doing right now in the blockchain space?
So thank you very much, Sean. It's a very pleasure to have the interview with you. And as we met last first time on the conference, it was a great discussion. So good to follow up on this. So basically, I'm doing most everything in blockchain. So all my activities are connected with this technology and the disruptive industry, which is right now burning. So first of all, I'm helping one company, the software house Espeo blockchain, in expansion on the Swiss market. And we are doing really cool things last 2 years in that industry, helping the clients also on we work as a interim CTO and helping the companies that they even don't have any any technical team or also supporting bigger projects. So if you want to know more, so you can talk with me afterwards, drop me a message. I'm also very connected with the startup industry in blockchain. I was advising many of them and helping raising funds. I'm also linking investors, so like all range of these, from the private investors through business angels, family offices, venture capitals, and private equities, to helping them finding appropriate project. But it's not easy because, as I recognize, and probably you can agree with me, Sean, this is right now a very big problem, that the most companies, they are raising whole life. So from the very beginning, they don't have products, or they don't have clients, or they don't have MVP. But in my opinion, the most important thing is sales. So if you don't see anything, that you don't have a market proof for your project, it's a waste of time to raising the money all the time. Okay, maybe sometimes there are some exceptions, but generally that's the big problem, I think. And I can really met a few projects that are really good, and as we talked before, they are solving really the problem in the industry. So blockchain is nice, it's cool, it's a big hype on this. You can see many Telegram groups where people are very, very active, and many conferences. I've been on some of them, probably in Switzerland, last 3 months, almost all of them with what are possible. And it's cool, but you have to really have the idea if it's blockchain needed in your project. So that's really the question you should ask yourself, because only putting the blockchain to do the ICO right now, ICO is not the trendy, so it's another word, Espeo, or also some others to acquire more investors and give actually possibility to invest not only in the tokens but also in the equities. So yeah, that's some things that we should clarify before you will start actually promoting your projects. Yeah, and this is mostly I think I'm doing. So I'm helping on the side on the investment, and on the other side also with my great team to building and actually make happen this project on the technical side.
I see. You know, thank you, by the way, because you just gave, I hope people realize this, you gave a lot of value and insight in a very short space of time there. So there's 2 big things you've mentioned there I want to touch on. Number one, it's clear from listening to you that because you work in the back end helping with the development, you've also had to support on the investment side, because we know right now, you know, I think you and I know from being in the industry that a lot of investors lost money when there was the ICO hype stage. STOs weren't there at that point in time. And so I know that raising capital and raising funds is more difficult now than it was 1 year ago, right? So it's very interesting that you're supporting. I know you've been there a lot meeting people. I met you at the Blockchain World Summit in London, but I know you've been to a lot of other conferences there. And I know you talk with a lot of people in the space. Do you think that the biggest problem they're facing right now is raising funds, or are they seeing other big problems?
So one thing is raising funds, and most of the startups, they have problem with this. They don't have good idea how to approach proper investors. I received like many requests on LinkedIn because I'm also positioning somehow as an investor. I invested myself in some projects, also ICOs, and not only. And this is like very pushing attitudes. You can meet them also on the conferences, and I met a lot of good people. And this is also the shame that they're doing cool projects, but they really don't have idea how to talk with investors. They're also not keen to like. And then, in my opinion, for example, they're not appreciated if someone will connect with them. It's changed because right now I'm working more with projects that are more on bus. So they have MVP or just something that can show from the development part. They raise some money very initial, or they have first stage. So with those projects, it's easier. But very often like link with investors, many startups, and I even they didn't send me thank you. So that's not, I think. And you really, if you want to have the proper investor, you really have to put a lot of effort on it. So just sending the messages on LinkedIn, I think it's not that relevant. You really need to meet these people, show who you are. I like many speakers on the conferences that are my good friends and advisors in the projects, and many of them saying, I would never advise any projects and any funders that I would not know in person. So,
yeah, I think you're right, because it's very easy to come into the space now and to try and gain investment when actually you have no credibility. And what you're saying is that human to human connection is no different to any other business. I think a lot of people last year in blockchain and crypto were riding on the coattails of the hype, but now the reality is kicking in. And like you're saying, this works like any other business. You need to be there with people in person, building relationships and building trust, and ultimately solving problems and adding value for people. That brings me to another question, actually. In terms of solving problems and adding value, do you think that there's still a lot of STOs and ICOs out there who might be trying to disrupt rather than actually just solve a problem? I'm not seeing, when I look at all the solutions out there, I would say there's only 5 or 10% that actually solve a problem. And you mentioned earlier, you said that one of the first things you do with your clients is work out, do they even need blockchain to solve the problem? Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's definitely the point. We have many cases, and also our head of blockchain is very pushing on this, that are you really need the blockchain in your solution? Because in some projects they are just putting the blockchain, but actually they are not realized that blockchains are not good in many cases, because sometimes it's too slow for their projects. Yeah, depends which type of blockchain they will choose. But yeah, that's the problem. And also, as you mentioned, the many projects, they want to just disrupt and like do the revolution in the industry, and it's a very big hype, a lot of marketing, but it's not big value inside. So this project could be done without the blockchain. And I even talk with many people, not only in Espeo, but also the guys who helped building blockchain, the big corporations, and also being the CTOs in many projects worldwide, and being on very beginning when all the hype on, he was before that, the whole hype on Bitcoin started, and etc. And he sent me some very valuable ideas, and he is like, he can very easy verify if that project is a scam from the technical side or need a blockchain at all, or if it will be successful from the blockchain or not. So you really need to have more experience. And this is also the problem in the startups, that many of them, they're like some random guys that they just come with the idea. They are talking about the technology that they never like be familiar before, or they didn't work in the companies. So also this is something like give a credibility. So the background of the founders, who really are, okay, I'm not saying that the people that don't have a background in corporations and big startups that grow very fast and now they are in blockchain industry, they don't have a chance. Yeah, so there is many examples showing that you don't need that big experience, but yeah, that's also something that should be mentioned in my opinion.
No, this is fantastic.
I agree with what you said.
No, thank you. It's really good insight. It's especially what you said is very good insight, especially for those who are kind of newer to the industry as well. They're getting a real-time insight into what this market is actually like and where some of the problems are. So thank you for that. I guess the last question we should really ask you before we run out of time is just to end on this note, which is, if you could see one thing change right now in the blockchain space, what would you like to see change so that this industry can move forward? How would you like to see this industry, what problems would you like to see going away so that we can move forward?
So first thing I see, like we need more awareness, how powerful is blockchain and what is really give to the world. And this also coming from another side. So startup and all this industry, like from the beginning from fintech through all other tech, X-tech industries, they're pushing this forward. But from the other side, the corporations, they are changing very slow in that position. I have many also conversations with the bankers from the insurance companies and all other corporates. It's really hard to change it on the corporate way because of the procedures, etc. They're seeing they're seeing the value in this, also the potential, and they're working on it, but it's not much real cases. And usually that's what's the point. And I would love to see that it will happen. More real cases that really working, and like implementation of blockchain and the money what came. This like some conversation that we have before, Sean, with you, that really the money, and you see the potential of this industry, because everyone is testing and nothing is maybe not nothing, but most things are not working. They're just hypotheses. So really the implementation of the blockchain in the real world and in all industries, that is what I'm looking for really, because I think this is just one of the technology which will bring our world in the new dimension. If it's not be a blockchain, it will be another, but yeah, that's just the beginning.
Wow, man, like you have literally cracked open Pandora's box there, because for me, like, this is the most passionate point I could have made here. You couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. I think you're absolutely right. It's where is the value right now? There is value in blockchain. For what it's worth, what I see happening is the companies that deploy blockchain first, because there's less friction. It means they can do things cheaper, faster, better. They're going to win because they're going to be able to cut tremendous amounts of cost by actually removing a lot of overhead cost in their business. And once that starts happening and it drives up earnings on the stock market, their competitors will see that. But you're right, like right now, there's so much red tape. People aren't really investing in that R&D, in the development. But the people that do that first, the people that come to, say, your organization and come there first are going to be the ones who win because they're going to be ahead. I know we saw that in Australia with the supply chain example. Someone important to me sent me a link. I did a video on it recently. You know, Australia is now going to save billions of dollars every year in logistics and freight because of blockchain. So I think you're absolutely right. And I also agree with you that the way to break that barrier is to come to corporations and to actually show them, here's the value, here's the return on investment, you know, to actually talk in numbers. Here's the return on investment. Here's the payback you're going to get. Here's the development cost. Here's why if you don't do this, you're throwing away money. You know, until we start having real value conversations, I'm with you. Listen, thank you so much for being here today. I actually wish we had scheduled a lot more time. I think we're going to have to do another video because you've been fantastic.
And also, if you want like more technical, this is also next point. So to have a more technical insight in the blockchain and more technical understanding. So this is what we are right now doing, the more like the meetups, connecting technical stuff and the business in one together, so the people could have the decisions based on the technical side and on the business side. So
love it, man.
Some initiative that I'm looking for.
Love it. That's exactly what we need in this industry for sure. So I'll be taking you up on that, by the way, because as we've already discussed, I've got projects I definitely need your help with. So how can people reach you? If anyone is watching this and they want to soundboard with you or talk about their industry or their business and what they're doing, how can they get hold of you best? What's the best contact method?
Yeah, so the most fastest way is, of course, LinkedIn, or just pop me an email. That's one very responding, so that would be the best option, I think.
Awesome. So you're on the Telegram community as well?
Yeah, also. But,
excellent. Okay.
Right, Telegram is cool, but it also would need some like that you can divide the messages with the people and the groups where you are, because without this you could be like really flooded.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Listen, thank you so much again for your time. I'll make sure I'll put your contact details with the video and also link you in on LinkedIn and on YouTube and in the comments as well, so people know how to reach you. But you've been fantastic. I can't wait till the next time we talk. So thanks again. We'll talk soon and take care.
Yeah, so thank you very much for everything, Sean, and also for good insights. Bye-bye.